but knowing that the person responsible is being held accountable allows us to move forward with hope.
New developments in the disappearance of Redding's Nikki McCain. Authorities arrested her husband today, accusing him of murder.
Plus, work is underway on Big Chico Creek to make sure migratory fish can access key spawning ground.
And West Nile virus is turning up all across our area. What local experts want you to know to avoid serious neurological consequences.
Covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now. Coverage you can count on.
New tonight, law enforcement arrested Tyler McCain for the murder of his wife, Nikki, after a 15-month-long investigation.
Action News Now reporter Blake Mayfield is live in front of the district attorney's office in Redding. So, Blake, that's just one of the charges the DA plans to file against McCain.
Yeah, Alan, that's right. DA Stephanie Bridget is charging McCain with murder and also one count of a special circumstance that the murder was committed with the intent to prevent testimony. She also announced that she'll be refiling charges that were filed against McCain back in December of 2023 involving a domestic dispute between both he and Nikki. Now take a look here. This is McCain's mugshot taken at the Shasta County Jail this morning. And here's video from today outside of McCain's house in Happy Valley after word of his arrest spread. You can see Sheriff's Office deputies are taking some belongings from McCain's house, presumably as evidence. Nikki originally told the Shasta County Sheriff's Office that Tyler beat her up at their Happy Valley home back in November 2023. McCain was charged that December with felony domestic violence, false imprisonment, making criminal threats, and assault, and is now being tried with those same charges yet again. The case was set to begin in Shasta County Court in July of last year until Nikki's disappearance. At that time, the charges were dismissed by the DA's office because they couldn't find Nikki and have her testify. Today, DA Bridget acknowledged that some members of the public were not happy about that initial development last year.
Had we gone forward with the domestic violence case in 2024, we would not have been able to prove that case without her testimony, without also having to prove that McCain caused her disappearance. Proving that McCain caused Nikki's disappearance back in July of 2024 would have compromised the homicide investigation.
Bridget says California law does not require that Nikki's body be located to prove the crime of murder. But she added that this is the first time in Shasta County's history that the DA's office is trying to charge someone for murder without a body being located first. McCain's arraignment is set for Friday at 1:30 p.m. in Shasta County Court. Reporting live in Redding, I'm Blake Mayfield, Action News Now.
Thank you, Blake. If convicted, McCain faces life in prison without parole. Now, he is being held in the Shasta County Jail with no bail. We are tracking temperatures as they begin to rise.
Yeah, lately it's been incredible out there, but this week the temperatures have been heating up. Today, I think, getting well into the triple digits. This is a live look at the Sundial Bridge in Redding, where not a lot of people are braving those higher temperatures.
Yeah, bright sunshine at the Sundial Bridge there, and Chief Meteorologist Howie Gordon is tracking the conditions for us.
It's called the Sundial Bridge. Shouldn't they be out there when it's hot and sunny? I don't know, but I think it's a little hot out there to be outside unless you're in a nice, cool, comfortable pool, somewhere safe, somewhere cold. Because look at our temperatures right now, in the 100s, in the valley. Little relief up there in Chester at 89, Paradise 94, very much on that hot side. Now, some of the better news, or just some good news, is winds very much on the light side. We like to see that when we're as hot and dry as we are when it comes to fire control and containability. But these moisture levels really, really low, so very, very hot and dry. And then by Friday, we'll be looking at heat advisories as well as extreme heat watches when temperatures start to soar in the 105s and the 108s. So low moisture tomorrow. Wind's not bad, very hot, but we're going to keep it low to borderline moderate in terms of significant fire risk potential. Still very hot and dry, though, and we're going to be hotter. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes.
Thanks, Howie.
Well, a group of fire victims met PG&E in federal court yesterday in San Francisco. Thousands have filed lawsuits against the company as they await full payout of settlement money from fires, including the Camp Fire. They believe that both PG&E and the Fire Victim Trust, which was set up to help pay those impacted, have not been transparent. PG&E said in part that the trustees and claims administrator were appointed by the bankruptcy court, determine, administer, and pay all fire victim claims in accordance with the trust procedures. They say the utility didn't have a role in selecting the trustee and doesn't have a role in reviewing claims. So far, that trust has paid out $13.7 billion to fire survivors, with final payments expected once the legal cases wrap up. There is one last payment coming from the trust, which will put Camp Fire surviving recipients at 70%. I spoke with Paradise Mayor Steve Crowder, who says he's aware of a group of local survivors trying to recover the shortfall of that 30% that went to the trust. But he doesn't think this will get traction because in a bankruptcy, he says, creditors never get that full 100%.
A manager at a gated senior living community in Chico says people living in RVs have been terrorizing residents. Action News Now reporter Sade Pullen spoke with that manager, police, and the city manager about the suspicious activity.
The manager at Springfield Manor here in Chico tells me that her residents have been feeling left scared and threatened after RVs parked along this back road here keep showing up consistently.
Dale Jenkins has been the manager at Springfield Manor for the past 2 years. Jenkins says for years, RVs have parked along the back wall of the gated community with people living in them. But she says suspicious activity has been ramping up over the past few months. She says she's seen 3 to 5 RVs parked at a time on some days.
We've had multiple residents on the back wall, mostly single elderly women who have had rocks thrown through their windows, multiple broken windows. We've had one resident physically assaulted twice by 2 juveniles in her own backyard.
Jenkins tells me that she believes these kids are either living or visiting the RVs. She said she was referred to code enforcement but has heard nothing back. She said that recently 7-day notices were given out to the RVs, but it wasn't successful since the RVs came back a few days later.
It left, but it wasn't gone long. Oddly enough, while all the RVs were gone, everything settled down. And as long as they were gone, we had hardly anything. But we have shopping carts out there, we have trash out there, we have generators running late at night, we have, arguments, we have feces.
Jenkins tells me that after the vandalism, police were contacted and responded, but she claims the reports went nowhere and that the RVs kept popping up.
Reports that I have in front of me, there were no actual dates provided of when the incident may have occurred. So we were not able to develop any leads based off of the information that was provided.
Gates, the Chico Police Department Public Information Officer, said after the incidents were reported, officer patrols were increased, but no suspects have been located. I reached out to City Manager Mark Sorensen, who says the City of Chico code enforcement officers have been proactively working to address the issues with the RVs and complaints of trash in the area over the last few weeks. He says the police target team and code enforcement were at the location earlier this morning. He says 2 were there legally parked and 1 left the area when asked. The second RV is registered and no code violations were noted. Reporting in Chico, I'm Sade Pullen, Action News Now.
Sorensen says they will continue to monitor the area for problems.
We are in peak season for West Nile virus, and in Butte County, 11 mosquito pools have tested positive so far. 4 were in Biggs, 4 in Gridley, 1 in Palermo, 1 in Honcut, and the farthest north was between Chico and Oroville. 2 test coops tested 6 chickens positive, 5 in Palermo, 1 in Honcut. While most positive tests so far are in southern Butte County, the head of mosquito vector control says it's in Chico and Hamilton City, too. He says this is actually way below what we normally see for this time of year. Some people who get the virus have mild symptoms, others die.
It can be very serious for anybody. Just one bite could potentially end your life of a mosquito, or one bite could have a negative impact on your way of life now and for the potential foreseeable future. So
right, because some people have neurological issues, right?
Yes, if you get the more severe form of West Nile, it can definitely put you in the hospital and possibly kill you. And that's where the neurological sides of it and the encephalitis comes and the brain swellings.
We told you last week when Butte County Public Health announced the first confirmed human West Nile virus infection of the season, a person in their 30s or 40s with severe symptoms.
The Iron Canyon fish ladder in Big Chico Creek above Bear Hole in Upper Bidwell Park will undergo a major upgrade to help migrating fish get upstream. Action News Now reporter Margot Rowe shows us the plan.
Hold on, keep it going.
After several years in the works, California Trout and its partners had a groundbreaking to celebrate the restoration and development of a new fish ladder in Big Chico Creek.
The Mechoopda Tribe, as well as the Chico State Ecological Reserve, California Trout, and a few other partners around 2021 came out here to this exact site, and we kind of shared a vision of what does salmon restoration look like in the Big Chico Creek watershed.
That vision entails a more natural pathway for the migrating fish. Cal Trout says that the current concrete infrastructure has been failing, causing fish to get stuck in that part of the creek. So the grant-funded project aims to remove the concrete and repurpose the bedrock to create a better passage.
This project will restore passage for anadromous salmon, steelhead, repopulate the native fish population, and revitalize Big Chico Creek.
Construction for the project is expected to wrap up by 2027. Reporting in Chico, I'm Margot Rowe for Action News Now.
And construction is expected to begin in the coming weeks.
A Wildcat welcome. We hear from Chico State's president welcoming the incoming class of students today on campus.
Plus, new at 6, we show you how a local racing star turned to another sport to raise money for kids in our area.